there's no check for $250 million. So he kind of went right down the list of joking. He's kidding. You're not supposed to believe any of that to be true.
It's over. Do you understand? In that profession, once you ascend to where Conor has ascended to, he's probably worth a couple $100 million. Now to set that aside, you know what? I'm gonna get it out the mud. I'm in the trenches, and I'm gonna go train, and I'm gonna get kicked in the mouth. I'm gonna get elbowed, knock my teeth out. Do you understand how hard that is?
Boxing experts are sounding the alarm, urging Logan Paul to steer clear of a potential fight with Conor McGregor. The idea of these two global icons clashing has captured the imagination of fans worldwide, but many in the combat sports community are deeply concerned about the implications of such a bout. While Logan Paul's ambition and showmanship are undeniable, the gulf in experience, skill, and fighting pedigree between him and McGregor raises serious questions about whether this matchup is a good idea or even a safe one. Logan Paul has built a reputation as a fearless entertainer willing to push boundaries. From his rise to fame as a YouTube star to his transition into the boxing ring, Paul has consistently sought challenges that generate both intrigue and controversy. His high-profile bouts against KSI and Floyd Mayweather showcased his athleticism and ability to draw massive audiences, even if his boxing record remains unimpressive. However, stepping into the ring with Conor McGregor represents an entirely different level of risk. McGregor, a former UFC champion in 2 weight classes, has achieved legendary status in combat sports. Known for his precision striking, unshakable confidence, and ability to deliver under pressure, McGregor has a fighting IQ that far exceeds Paul's limited experience. Though McGregor's professional boxing resume consists of a single loss to Floyd Mayweather in 2017, his striking skills and years of MMA dominance make him a formidable adversary for any opponent. Experts fear that Paul's limited technical skills and lack of defensive finesse would leave him vulnerable to McGregor's aggressive and calculated fighting style. Teddy Atlas, a respected boxing analyst, has cautioned that Logan Paul's athleticism alone is not enough to compensate for the skill gap.
So Logan Paul's fighting Conor McGregor, but we're getting scammed since originally this fight was supposed to be Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I don't know who got more scammed, the people that bought Crypto Zoo or Jake Paul. At least we know this fight will be a harder watch than Joe Biden going up the stairs. Regardless, I will still be watching this fight. Make sure to subscribe.
Boxing is not merely about physical attributes like size and strength, but about mastering the nuances of timing, distance, and strategy. McGregor has honed these skills over years of competing at the highest level. While Logan Paul has demonstrated courage and resilience, he has not faced anyone with McGregor's combination of power and precision. Adding to these concerns is McGregor's reputation as a relentless competitor. Unlike Floyd Mayweather, who took a more cautious approach during his exhibition fight with Paul, McGregor is unlikely to hold back. His aggressive fighting style, characterized by rapid combinations and relentless pressure, could lead to a punishing bout for Paul.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined, not even close.
Veteran trainer Freddie Roach has warned that the fight could quickly become dangerous, especially if Paul underestimates the intensity McGregor brings to every contest. While Logan Paul enjoys significant physical advantages, including height and reach, experts argue that these factors would not compensate for his lack of technical expertise. McGregor's ability to adapt mid-fight, exploit weaknesses, and land devastating strikes makes him a challenging opponent for even seasoned fighters. Paul's inexperience at this level could result in a one-sided contest, with McGregor dictating the pace and exploiting Paul's defensive vulnerabilities. The potential risks extend beyond the physical realm. Public perception could also take a hit if this fight materializes. Logan Paul has already faced criticism for blurring the lines between spectacle and sport, and a lopsided loss to McGregor would likely reinforce these criticisms. On the flip side, McGregor's involvement in such a bout could draw scrutiny for lending legitimacy to an opponent who many believe has not earned his place in the ring. Despite these warnings, some argue that Logan Paul's resilience and promotional prowess make him a compelling figure in the boxing world. His ability to generate massive pay-per-view numbers ensures that any fight he participates in will be a financial success, regardless of the outcome. Fans remain divided, with some eagerly anticipating the potential entertainment value of the fight, and others dismissing it as a sideshow that undermines the integrity of combat sports. For Logan Paul, the stakes could not be higher. A victory, however improbable, would solidify his place in combat sports history and silence his critics. A loss, particularly a decisive or humiliating one, could damage his reputation and derail his aspirations of being taken seriously as a boxer. For McGregor, the fight represents an opportunity to further expand his brand and showcase his striking skills to a global audience, though it risks being perceived as an easy payday rather than a genuine challenge. The prospect of a clash between these two polarizing figures shows the growing trend of crossover bouts that blur the lines between sport and entertainment. Whether this matchup ultimately comes to fruition or remains a topic of debate, one thing is clear. The idea of Logan Paul fighting Conor McGregor has already captured the attention of the world, for better or worse.
10 seconds.
Since breaking his leg in his 2021 loss to Dustin Poirier, the former two-weight UFC champion has not participated in any competitions. Two companies suspended him from their promotions last month after he was ordered to pay nearly 250,000 euros to a woman who had accused him of rape, further complicating his path back to the octagon. Following the cancellation of McGregor's highly anticipated June showdown with Michael Chandler at UFC 303, derailed by a foot injury, whispers of an unexpected return in 2025 are now gaining momentum. McGregor said on X earlier this month that there was no fight with Topuria, despite reports to the contrary. He said, "I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon." McGregor has ignited further speculation by reacting to a post on X, referencing a report from FightbookMMA.com. The report alleged that a $250 million mega fight is set at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. McGregor's response, featuring an India flag and a heart emoji, has already racked up over 1.3 million views, adding fuel to the already blazing hype. In 2017, McGregor lost to Mayweather in his lone professional boxing bout. While negotiations with Paul are underway, McGregor is simultaneously eyeing a potential UFC comeback in late 2025, as revealed by UFC CEO Dana White. As of now, McGregor remains bound by his UFC contract, even as discussions about a potential fight with Paul continue to unfold. For the McGregor versus Paul matchup to materialize, the UFC must grant McGregor permission. Otherwise, pursuing the bout could risk violating his contractual obligations. On a recent episode of the Weighing In podcast, Big John McCarthy highlighted a key obstacle McGregor must tackle to bring the Paul fight to fruition. The real question is his contract with the UFC. The only way for him to get that fight is they've got to allow it. If he signed that contract, they could sue him. Will he pay? Can they get the money from him? I can't say that, McCarthy said of McGregor. He added, but does he want to go out in that fashion? That doesn't make sense. $250 million. He can make some strange choices. The buzz around a potential McGregor versus Paul showdown has the financial world spinning, with whispers of each fighter pocketing a staggering $250 million. If true, this would set an unprecedented benchmark for boxing payouts. For comparison, McGregor's disclosed paycheck for his bout with Mayweather was a far more modest $30 million, a figure that now pales in the shadow of this rumored jackpot. During a TMZ interview, Paul disclosed that he anticipated earning approximately $20 million for his 2021 showdown with Mayweather. However, years after their bout, Paul now claims that Mayweather reneged on their agreement, leaving him unpaid for the agreed-upon sum. It's worth mentioning that the speculated $500 million McGregor versus Paul payout originated from a source that was largely disregarded. However, should the fight be scheduled, it would undoubtedly be a highly profitable event. McGregor further fueled the rumors by resharing the reported $250 million offer, causing the figure to quickly gain traction. As negotiations for the fight continue, both McGregor and Paul have recently posted new training videos in preparation for their anticipated boxing showdown. Should the bout go ahead, it will mark Paul's first return to the ring since his victory over McGregor's longtime SBG Ireland teammate Dylan Dennis in the previous year. Expect clarity on the potential McGregor versus Paul matchup to emerge in the next few weeks. Meanwhile, the fight remains a subject of intense discussion. When a headline drops featuring two of the most controversial names in combat sports, the reaction is nothing short of explosive. And that's precisely what happened when fans began speculating about the much-anticipated return of MMA's prodigal son. We're talking about none other than Conor McGregor and Logan Paul, who made waves by revealing their mega boxing showdown at Mumbai's legendary Wankhede Stadium, with McGregor rumored to rake in a staggering $250 million as part of India's bold Visit India tourism initiative. This event seemed destined to be a spectacle of epic proportions. Leave it to Jake Paul and his unmistakably loud voice to throw a wrench into the excitement. His blunt comment was Most Valuable Promotion's immediate response to the announcement, casting doubt on the fight's authenticity. For those unfamiliar, cap is a slang term used to call out a lie or exaggeration. What seemed like a harmless Instagram post has now ignited a fiery debate. Is this fight really the groundbreaking global spectacle it's hyped up to be? Or is it just another well-crafted publicity stunt? And why is Jake so determined to discredit it? The self-described problem child enjoys stirring up trouble, but this time he may be right. On X, Jake didn't mince words. He said, "Now it all makes sense. Why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us. Hold on, are you trying so hard?" That's a strong assertion, but if it's accurate, it presents McGregor in a completely different light. In 2024, will the Irishman, who was once the face of the UFC, really need the Paul brothers to remain relevant? Jake seems to think so, as he said, "Conor is washed, needs the Pauls. Logan, by however he wants." Despite the fight being touted as historic, Jake's commentary paints it as little more than a vanity project for the Dubliner. The kicker? Jake isn't merely throwing shade, he's leveraging the moment to advance his own agenda. He's made it crystal clear. If McGregor wants to face him, UFC President Dana White has to be part of the conversation. Could Jake's taunts end up benefiting him?
What I really want is Conor.
The
I'll put
ideal
the nail
order-
in his casket.
Ideally, if you could have it your way, is it Nate, Tommy, Conor? Is KSI anywhere in that equation
Well,
anymore?
if KSI fights Tommy, he's going to get knocked out.
Yep.
I guess it's all kind of in the air. Time will tell.
However, McGregor might need to shake off some rust when he steps back into the combat sports arena, having been sidelined since his 2021 trilogy defeat to Dustin Poirier in the UFC, where he endured a horrific leg break. The Irishman had planned a long-awaited return to the octagon for a clash with Michael Chandler at UFC 303 this June, but a broken toe sidelined him, postponing the much-anticipated showdown between the two rivals. Meanwhile, Logan Paul's younger brother Jake has been fueling speculation about a potential matchup with McGregor. But is Dana White driven purely by business, or is there an underlying personal rivalry at play? That's the burning question fans keep asking as the UFC maintains its partnership with Logan Paul, while Jake Paul remains squarely in White's sights. White's close association with Logan, including naming Prime as the UFC's official hydration sponsor and making appearances on Logan's podcast, might seem like a strategic business decision. But could there be more to the story than meets the eye? This is where things start to become heated. In episode 417 of his Thick C Boy podcast, former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub boldly declared, Dana hates the Pauls. For Dana to be in cahoots with the Paul brothers in any facet, that's wild. The remark perfectly captured Schaub's incredulity at the UFC's partnership with Logan Paul. The UFC president's connection with the Paul brothers stands in stark contrast. Logan Paul has become the UFC's shining star, landing significant sponsorships and frequently sharing the spotlight with White on the Impulsive podcast. Their collaboration has not only attracted a younger demographic to the UFC, but also generated widespread mainstream attention for the organization. Here's the catch. What if this goes beyond mere friendship or settling old scores? What if Dana White's friendly demeanor is just a piece of a much larger strategy? We can't overlook the fact that the UFC president is known for his shrewd, tactical decisions in expanding the organization. Could White be using Logan's worldwide popularity to overshadow Jake's dominance in the combat sports world? But what about Jake Paul? He earned the title The Problem Child for a reason. From slamming White over fighter pay and healthcare to labeling him a greedy bastard, Jake has been at odds with the UFC president for years, using social media as his battleground. His relentless tactics have sparked the flames of their feud repeatedly, with Dana infamously daring him to pass substance testing if he wants to step into the octagon for a fight.
What's going on with Jake Paul, Conor McGregor? Is that fight happening or what?
Probably not, no.
Are you closed off to it completely?
I'm never completely closed off to anything. I used to say that about, things, but I don't say that anymore.
Smart.
Because you never know. You never know what could happen.
Ironically, Jake hasn't exactly been a vocal supporter of Logan's UFC pursuits. When rumors swirled about a potential showdown between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul, Jake didn't hide his disapproval. He dismissed the match as pointless, suggesting it diverted attention from more pressing matters, like the issue of fighter compensation. What is happening here then? Is Jake stirring the pot as he often does, or is this a breach in the Paul brothers' united front? Jake's ongoing rivalry with Dana is still burning hot. Recall how Jake's showdown with Mike Tyson completely exceeded all expectations, raking in an impressive $18.2 million from pay-per-view and gate sales. Jake didn't miss the chance to take a dig at the UFC, boasting that his boxing event had outperformed UFC 309, which had a live gate of about 16.6 million. Was this Jake's subtle flex, a reminder to Dana that he's a major player in the fight world, outside the UFC's confines? Here's where things get interesting. Could Dana's close alliance with Logan be a quiet jab at Jake? Consider this: Logan's boosting sponsorship revenue, attracting a younger crowd and radiating positive energy, while Jake remains stuck on the sidelines taking potshots. Logan Paul has left fans questioning his boxing skills by sharing a video of himself back in training, sparking speculation that a potential showdown with Conor McGregor may be on the horizon. Paul shared an 8-second video of himself training at the gym he co-owns with his younger brother Jake in Puerto Rico. In the clip, he throws arm punches during what appeared to be a lighter session, leaving fans shocked and critical of his form. Paul has not yet addressed the rumors regarding his potential return to boxing to challenge McGregor, despite his ongoing contract with WWE, where he's expected to take on a larger role in 2025. Nevertheless, he has demonstrated his ability to step away from the company for fights, having squared off against Dylan Dennis in an exhibition match last year. Curiously, the initial rumors about the two negotiating a fight surfaced from a fraudulent account. However, the news gained credibility when McGregor and Themiclife, an outlet established by renowned journalist Oscar Willis, who has close ties with the Irish MMA icon, both confirmed it on social media. McGregor confirmed the fight with the Paul brother and revealed a $250 million payout in an article from the Mac Life that he retweeted a few days earlier. The Mac Life posted, "Conor McGregor and Logan Paul are to feature as part of a historic Visit India tourism campaign as the pair clash in Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium. The two will be well rewarded for their efforts, with McGregor set to walk away with $250 million, making the fight one of the most financially rewarding in history." Chael Sonnen, a former UFC title contender and now a commentator, analyst, and podcast host, remains skeptical about every element of the rumored boxing match between Conor McGregor and Jake Paul. There is a very big former champion that's a star of the mixed martial arts. His name is Conor McGregor. He is claiming that he's going to get $250 million to go box Logan Paul in India for a billionaire investor who wants to bring attention and tourism to India, Sonnen said on his YouTube channel. Sonnen continued, "Not a single word is true. You've got to understand, Conor is not boxing Logan Paul. There is not a billionaire in India looking to bring people over and change tourism. That is something that is exclusively done by a government. There's no check for $250 million. He's kidding. You're not supposed to believe any of that to be true." The announcement quickly reverberated across the fight community, igniting a frenzy of speculation from both fans and analysts about the prospect of this unexpected showdown. Critics have raised concerns over the Irishman's choice, questioning whether his MMA career has truly come to an end. Meanwhile, others debate whether the former WLBB United States champion is the ideal adversary, considering McGregor's established legacy in the sport. There's also growing skepticism about McGregor's capacity to contend with someone like Paul, a non-professional boxer, after such an extended hiatus. Brendan Schaub, however, holds a different opinion. In a recent episode of the Thick Boy podcast, Schaub expressed his concerns, stating, "My only concern too is if Conor doesn't take this serious, kind of moseys in, he's partying, I think he'd get up. That's what's interesting to me now. If it's prime Conor, like the one that beat Diego Brandao or beat Eddie Alvarez or that beat, Nate Diaz, he shows up for that. Logan might get pieced up, should, but I don't know if that version might be gone."
Conor McGregor came out and said that he had agreed to fight Logan Paul. What is the latest there? What is going on?
From what I understand, there was conversations about it a while ago. I don't know if Conor just woke up in like Ibiza or something like that and decided that he wanted to talk about it today. From the last thing I heard, there was no updates there, so I don't know if he's just out of his mind and just talking about it. But Logan just had a kid. He's locked in. He's a girl dad. And so, unless there's something that I haven't heard, which is very possible, I don't know what the hell Conor's talking about. But I'll say this. no matter what, I think the boxing world would love to see it. I think we're talking about two very controversial personalities. One loved and hated, two countries, two different fighting disciplines. The world watches that fight. That's another Tyson, Jake Paul. I don't care what you say, people watch that fight. So I want to see it happen, for sure.
Schaub's worries appear justified, given that McGregor's off-camera antics have consistently attracted negative attention. After stepping away from active fighting, McGregor seems to have fully embraced a life of opulence, indulgence, and relentless partying. This past summer, the Notorious revealed his plans to return to the octagon, targeting a showdown with Michael Chandler at UFC 303. The eagerly awaited comeback took an unexpected turn when McGregor sustained a pinky toe injury, resulting in the indefinite postponement of the fight. To make matters worse, just 35 days prior to the originally planned date, McGregor was filmed partying at a nightclub with his longtime partner Dee Devlin. The footage quickly stirred controversy among prominent figures in the MMA world, intensifying concerns over his dedication to the sport. Conor McGregor's relentless party lifestyle has not only jeopardized his athletic prospects, but also landed him in legal hot water. A Dublin court recently heard a civil suit filed by Nita Hand, a woman who accused the UFC star of assaulting her in a local hotel. With these mounting controversies, McGregor's anticipated return to the octagon now appears more doubtful than ever. However, one of his most prominent adversaries has stepped forward with some blunt counsel on how McGregor might revive his career. Let's explore what advice was shared. Conor McGregor's life has been rocked in recent months, beginning with a decision from the Dublin High Court. This ruling sparked a series of events that have severely impacted his image, affecting his brands, endorsements, and business endeavors. The ensuing wave of criticism and backlash has been relentless, leaving the Irish star grappling with the dual pressures of legal battles and public scrutiny. In the midst of the turmoil, a number of influential voices have stepped forward, urging McGregor to remain resilient while also advising young athletes to heed the lessons in his missteps. Among these figures is Matt Brown, who, despite their strained relationship, recently offered his perspective on how the Irish fighter might regain his footing and restore his legacy. Brown stated during an interview with The Fighter vs. The Writer podcast that McGregor can recover, but only if he accepts responsibility for his acts. Brown added, "Conor is going to be in a shitstorm here. I don't think this is unsalvageable, but he has to be the one to salvage it. No one's going to save him in this situation. The UFC can't save him. He has to do the right things. Get the out of the clubs. Put down the straws and get back in the gym." So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.